Hello everyone, welcome to episode 75 of the Cherry Heart podcast. I'm Sandra and this is a crafty podcast about crochet and knitting mainly, some sewing and other crafty bits and bobs that I may get up to. You can find the show notes for this podcast on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk, and I'll also pop a link in the little box below the video for you. You can also find me around the web as Cherry Heart, and I'm on Instagram as Sandra Cherry HRT. So hello, how are you? How have you been since we last spoke? Things are good here. We have a nice sunny day today. It's quite fresh and a little chilly, but it is nice and sunny, so I'm hopeful it'll warm up. But it is starting to feel very autumnal because the mornings are quite fresh and the evenings the temperature drops quite a lot and the nights are even drawing in a little bit. I hate to say it, but it's true. Yeah, so I'm getting a bit more of that sort of autumnal feeling. It doesn't feel like that nice gentle slide into it that we had last year that I was kind of looking forward to. It feels a bit more, I don't know, like it's suddenly descended upon us, but never mind. Stop talking about the weather, Sandra. Stop being so British. Yeah, so what have I got to tell you? I'm going to start with some Podmin, I think. I'm going to talk about the Nature's Walk blanket, which is this one behind you here. So this time we split up the introduction and sort of some of the other sort of preparing and other information that is useful as you go along through the cal and as you're making the blanket. So the second sort of section of that, the getting ready section I've called it, is now out. That's available to download. I'll pop the link in the show notes, but it's, if you go onto my blog at all, or on my website rather, you'll see the Nature's Walk banners up and you can just click on that to go to the page. But yes, so the swatch pattern is there. So people are making swatches and they're starting to come up in my feed now. So that's good. And you seem to be getting on all right with that. So good. Excellent. I also made a couple of videos, sort of getting started with crochet charts videos. So there's links to that in the PDF as well. So it's just a very basic kind of intro to just some of the information. So if you've seen crochet charts before and sort of gone, what's that? This might be something you might want to look at. It's a good opportunity to try it out. So yes, I wanted to mention that. Oh, and also we're sorting our colours out this week. So there's a little colour chart in there. So if you've got one of the packs, you can kind of, you know, get everything sorted, yarn A, yarn B and so on. And then if you're using your own colours, I've left a column so you can kind of fill that in with whatever your colours are and get yourself sorted out that way. So that's all going on. So that's all very exciting. So yes, like I say, it's nice to see them popping up on the Ravelry threads and on Instagram and everything, and in the Facebook group. What else did I want to say about that? Oh yes, colours. So with the Sheepy Stone Washed, so we've had a fantastic reception to this. So let me just say that first of all, thank you so much to everyone who's been so kind about the blanket and who's brought yarn packs and everything. It's been brilliant and I'm so relieved you like it. And yeah, I'm just very grateful. So I wanted to say that. But actually the stone washed packs, the colours, some of the colours we can't now get. So we've ordered some more and they've let us know that we can't actually have all the colours that we wanted. So we've had to make some changes on some of the packs. So the Open Fields, which is that one there, the greeny bluey one, there's a couple of yarn changes on that one. I'll see if I can pop a picture in actually. I popped a little picture up on Instagram. So I'll slide that in here so you can see. So it's the border colour we've had to swap out for a slightly different grey, and the brown, which is, I can't make my finger go the right way. There, There's the brown. The brown, there's quite a close one for. It's just slightly deeper brown. And then the grey, the next closest one they had, it's just a slightly different tone to it. So it's a little bit more saturated in colour, but it's also a little bit more steely grey. This one's got almost a green tint to it, very, very faintly. So it's just a little bit different tonally. So those are the two changes on that one. And then on the Wild Hedgerow colourway, which is this one here, there are a few changes as well. So the border colour is slightly lighter now, and the pink and the lilac we've had to change to the next closest colours, which are a little bit more saturated, a little bit more brighter. And then the yellow is very close actually. There's two shades. I'm not quite sure why they have two shades that are very, very close, but in this case it's lucky for us. So there's hardly, there is a slight difference, but there isn't much difference with the change on the yellow one. So I'll slide in the thing so you can see. So it makes it a little bit more saturated pack, but I think the good thing about both of them, that even though we've had to sort of make the next closest changes that we can. Sorry, the dog. It's Bert, he's barking. I just realised I'm ignoring him and chatting away, and he's probably being really irritating. Sorry about that interruption. I've called him back now and he's gone. He won't come in here. He wants to sit out in the sun and sunbathe, which is all very well if he keeps quiet. Anyway, where was I? Yarn pack changes. Yes, so what is really good about it, and which was important to me, is that it's kind of kept the spirit of the colours that I wanted for each pack. So the Open Fields still does look really Open Fields, and Wild Hedgerow is still, you know, all very much all those berries and kind of autumnally colours. So that's good. So I'm amazed that we've caused a situation where there's a problem with colours, but I think we've got everything sorted now, and I hope you'll be pleased with the changes that we've made. So hopefully that will be good, and the main thing is we can still have packs and enjoy the cal, and you know, following along with the designs and getting involved, and that's kind of the main thing, isn't it? It's kind of the process of it, and you know, having a lovely product at the end. So that's all still good. So that's my Nature's Walk news. And then my other piece of news was to do with the Strictly Sock Along. So this is Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful. Starry Eyes Ali on Instagram is holding her Strictly Sock Along again this year. So if you watch Strictly Come Dancing or Dancing with the Stars, yes, and you want to make a pair of socks at the same time that you are watching the programme, then you can enter them into her Sock Along. So if you pop over to Ali's group on Ravelry, she's got all the rules. I say rules because they're made for breaking as well. She's got all the information listed over there. But anyway, the reason I'm mentioning it, apart from the fact I'm taking part in it and I wanted to let you know about it, was I've got a discount code running. So if you wanted to buy any of my sock patterns, I'll have it running for the whole of September. And you just need to enter the discount code, and then you can get, I can't remember how much it was now, 15% off I think it was. Yes, it is 15% off, I just checked. So I'm going to give you a code, I'll pop it down here, and if you just take that code, and when you order on Ravelry, if you enter that at checkout, it will give you 15% discount on any of my sock patterns. So it's LDWSSAL19. So LDW for Little Drops of Wonderful, SSAL for Strictly Sock Along, and then 19 for 2019. So that's the code you can enter and get a lovely little discount. So that's to celebrate the Strictly Sock Along, which I'm very excited about. Yes, autumn and Strictly time is quite good. My daughter got me into Strictly a few years ago, and yeah, we always watch it now, so together. Yeah, we quite enjoy it. So yeah, that's all there is to say about that. Stop talking now. So let's talk about the things I've been making. What have I been up to? So the first one is this one, the first one I am wearing. So let me stand up and give you a little twirly twirl. Here we go. Oh, can you hear him? He's whittling, he wants to go out. Trouble is, when you go out, you bark. So there we go. So give you a close-up of the lace bit. Yes, what? I'm going to have to let him out. You're being very disruptive today. Just know I'm going to be leaping up again in 20 seconds because he's barking his head off. Right, I was trying to tell you about this lovely jumper that I've made. Thoughts. Let's have some thoughts, shall we? I was trying to tell you the name of it. It's the Tegna, I think. Tegna. Tegna. I'm not sure. Yes. And I showed you it last time. I think I don't know where I'd got to. Split for the sleeves, I think. I'm not quite sure. But yes, I finished it all. I got quite anxious when I got to the stage where I had to add sleeves because I only had a little amount of yarn left, and I was quite worried. But as you can see, they're quite short sleeves, so it wasn't a major problem. So I made size large for the body, but I went up a size for the sleeves because a lot of people had said that the sleeves were really quite tight. So I was considering going up 2 sizes actually, but because I didn't have too much yarn, I only went up 1 size, and actually that was fine. And the number of stitches to pick up for the next size up seemed to fit better anyway. It sort of looks quite nice and smooth and neat, doesn't it? So I think if I'd picked up less stitches, it would have not looked quite so neat. And then once I had enough yarn and I'd finished the sleeves, I actually went back and redid the neckline. So originally I picked up the number of stitches it said in the pattern, and I knit it, but it just seemed quite pulled in, and it didn't sort of roll over nice like this. It was so tight it kind of pulled it up like this around the sides, and these bits here, again, they looked very untidy. So once I knew I had enough yarn left, I undid that and redid it again, and I picked up more stitches along these sort of edge bits. And I also cast, so it says to use smaller needles for this, which I did, but then when I bent back to, when I'd knit the amount of rows I needed, I switched to the larger needles again to cast off, and it just sort of seemed to let it roll over quite nicely. But it's a lot neater down here now that I've picked up more stitches as well. I can't remember how many I did. I just sort of did as I thought, as I saw fit, really. So yeah, so I'm really happy with how that's sitting now. That looks quite nice. So yes, I'm very happy with it. The only thing I would say, or the only other modification I made rather, is I added some short row shaping to the back to kind of, let me stand up again, to give it that kind of high-low hem thing. So it's supposed to be cropped, so I wanted it definitely quite short at the front. So I'm happy with that. I think that's nice. But I'd seen, when I was looking through, sorry, standing up and I can't see you. When I was looking through project pages, I'd seen someone else had added some short rows just to give it a little bit more length on the back, which I really liked, so I did that too. But the only thing I would say is, because this lace, you start out quite a lot wider and then you decrease as you do the lace. Sorry, I'm bobbing up and down like a loony. Now that I've blocked the lace out, so it was hanging beautifully and I loved it, and then I blocked the lace out so that this bottom row looked, the top row was fine, but I wanted the bottom row to kind of look, you know, neat as well. And it does just give it quite a frilliness that I'm not sure I needed. I'll sit down again. yeah, so when you block it, there's actually quite a lot of stitches on that bottom lace, and so you have to pull it quite wide to block it out. I mean, I did it as gently as I could. I didn't even pin anything out. I just sort of damped it down and sort of just, you know, arranged it to sort of, so that I didn't get very, what's the word? I only wanted a very gentle blocking, a very gentle effect. So I did that, but even that, you know, it's quite frilly. Oh my goodness, I cannot speak. Quite frilly. And when it was sort of hanging, you know, because it's oversized anyway. I didn't think it needed to be oversized and stick out the bottom. But that's a minor thing. Overall, I'm really happy and I really like it. And as I say, I just blocked ever so gently without, I just put a wire through the sleeves at the top and just pinned that up, and then just smoothed down with my hands just to get even out the stitches. So that was all I did. So the yarn I used I want to tell you about, because oh my goodness, it's so gorgeous. This is all I have left. I used a bit more than the pattern said, but then I added those short rows, didn't I? So, and also these balls were a bit smaller than the ones used in the pattern, so I didn't have quite the same yardage, but I did have enough. That's the main thing. But anyway, this is Wool Barn yarn, and it's her I think it's cashmere sock. I don't think I've got any of the labels left in these. No, I've taken them out. And this was the orchid colourway, but oh my goodness, it's got cashmere in it, so I guess you would expect it to be like a dream, but it was lovely to knit with. It blocked beautifully. It feels amazing. I love the colour. Yeah, very, very happy with that. So absolutely do not go to her shop and buy any, because I want it there when I go back to buy some more. Yes, but that's gorgeous yarn. Mayo, if you watch this, I don't know if you do, but oh my goodness, fabulous. So that's this finished object, and then the other finished object I finished in the holidays actually, but I didn't show you last time just because time constraints. But they're socks, and they're my pearly dot socks that I'm trying to develop a pattern for. And this was supposed to be my kind of first run through to check the pattern was okay, which it is, but it's just the heels. I've done sort of 3 different sizes, so this heel works out perfectly, so that's great. But the heel that I've written up for the other sizes I still need to test, and just when I was reading back through it this time, I thought, I'm not sure I've got it right, so I need to re-look at that as well as test them. So the pattern's not particularly zooming along at the moment, but yeah, very happy with those. I like the little dotty dot design, and the cuff is kind of cute, so very happy with the basic idea of those. And I did this in cashmere sock as well. This is Wool Barn one as well, so I got these at Fibre East this year, and yeah, I've used them already, which kind of feels good because I've actually brought stuff and used it without, you know, leaving it sitting in stash for decades. But on the other hand, I feel like, oh, I want some more of it now. So this one is the Mist colourway, which is, as you can see, this really pretty grey-green colour. Yes. Very happy with those. Nice projects to work on. And it's nice yarn. It makes a difference, doesn't it? So now I've got those finishes out of the way, I really want to make another garment. As soon as I cast this one off, I thought I want to do another one. I kind of like the whole process of it, that there's kind of some interesting bit, but then because this one's got this nice stockinette, there's kind of a chunk of just plain mindless. You can just pick it up and knit on it. He's off again. He won't settle in here because he wants to be out, but you let him out and he kicks off out there. Not very helpful to podcasters. Right, I'll go and sort him out. again. This is turning into a bit of a disjointed podcast. Turns out the reason he was barking this time was because my mum and dad had arrived. So yes, they've popped by for a cup of tea. Yeah, so it's been a little while now, so I have no idea what I was talking about before. Let's just move on. What else have I got to show you? Socks. I was talking about socks before. And I've got another pair that I'm in the middle of. Well, I've started anyway. These are the socks that I'm making for the Strictly Sock Along. And as you can see, I've made a little start. So I've started this one during the launch show. That we watched when I came back from Black Sheep Wools, because I went for the launch party. So we watched yeah, the Black Sheep Wools Nature's Walk launch party, that's right, and then there was a launch show for this. So I just suddenly thought I was saying the wrong thing because I seem to be saying launch too many times, but that is right. Yes, so this is what I knit during the first show, so I'm quite pleased. I've made quite a lot of progress on that already. So this pattern is by lovely Ellie of Craft House Magic, and this is her Country Garden Socks pattern. So I've knit the cuff as per the pattern, and I am knitting this bit as the pattern, but I've actually missed out. There was another crisscrossy bit that I've missed out. It was supposed to go under the cuff here. And I was I'd read ahead with the instructions, and I kind of merrily knit away down here, and then I realised I'd missed out a bit. So that's not very bright, is it? But I'm not sure I actually want to undo it and go back. So I might just leave it as it is. I might go and put, instead of putting the trellis, it's called, this is butterflies, and the trellis is the bit that I was supposed to put under the cuff. I might go and put it at the end by the toe, maybe, if I remember to pop it in there. This is what you get for not checking back with the pattern because you're watching telly. Yeah, but the little butterflies are so cute, look. I like that, like how that's coming out. So that's coming on nicely, and this yarn is very lovely and soft, and this is a Lay Family Yarns sock set. So it came with this mini, which I think I will use for the heels and toes, and I think my colourway is Apple Blossom. My colourway, the colourway I've got, and it's just got those nice little reddy pink flecks in, and there's a nice, I don't know if you can see it actually if the camera picks out, the sort of semi-solid of the green, and it's got some little sort of almost very pale little dusty patches on it, like very subtle introduction of that kind of colour in little sort of patches as well. So there's kind of more depth to it than maybe you're seeing here. Let's see, I don't know how well it'll pick it up. It's very pretty though, it's really lovely. I'll try and show you on the other side, see if that's better. Yeah, it's really cute. So very happy with that. And so Strictly wasn't on last week, but it will be on again this week, so I can make some more progress on that this weekend. And the only other thing that I've actually got on the go at the minute is an old project. Well, a sort of more of a long-standing whip. It's a blanket, but all I'm making at the moment is a blanket of granny squares. So the 3 rounds grannies. So I've got colour, and I'm changing colours each row. So I've got a colour in the middle, different colour on the second round, and then the third round colour is all the same, and that's what I'm using to do a continuous join. So I'm just making my middles at the moment, so I'm making lots of tiny little 1 round dots, I think of them as, little granny dots. So yeah, so I've got this many of them in this bag so far. I was going to kind of do it in sections. So I made sort of about a quarter of the blanket when I started this, which was back earlier in the year. Don't know when, say around Easter time maybe, not sure. And then I thought I'd do like the same again probably this kind of time of year, and then I'll sort of do the other half of the blanket next year was my original plan. So that because I quite like having a nice long-term blanket project, but sort of having it on the back burner, and it's handy to just have something that's easy to pick up, like in between other things. But yeah, I sort of sat down to sort of make a few dots, and for some reason I just felt compelled to kind of get them done and out the way. I think because when you're changing every row there's so many ends, isn't there, and these little ones, these little tiny things, they don't take very long to make at all, and you sort of are racking up a lot of ends quite quickly. So sometimes I don't mind ends, other times they feel a bit more daunting, and for some reason they felt a bit more daunting the other day when I picked this back up. And so instead of leaving them, that made me think I'll get them all done out of the way. I think I'm thinking I'll pay it forward, and then that means I'll be able to enjoy the project more in the future. I don't know what my thinking is, but anyway, I've decided to make all the rest of the dots that I need for the entire blanket now. So I've done that for 4 colours, so that's about 50 dots-ish in each of my 10 colours, so we're looking at 500 odd dots that I've got to make. Yeah, so that's fun. So I've probably made about 200 so far. But then when they're done, I can just put the second round on, and joining them together took no time at all, so I might even sort of power through and finish it a bit earlier. I don't know. Yeah, so that's all I have in progress to talk about at the moment, I think. As I say, I'm kind of itching to start a new garment project now. Probably a knitted one, because I did have some yarn for a garment, a crochet garment rather. It was a jumper idea that I wanted to make, but somehow I don't feel like I've got the brain power to even think about it at the moment, so I'd quite like the idea of getting someone else's pattern and just following that, I think. There's a knitting pattern that I quite like that I want to do, but I don't have much in the way of quantities of yarn that's enough to make a garment. I've got lots of odd skeins, so I could make some sort of fade sweater type thing, I suppose, but for some reason that's not really appealing at the moment. So yes, but then on the other hand, I don't want to just go and buy a whole load more yarn, so I don't know what to do with those two conflicting sentiments quite now. I do have, actually, I've pulled this out and I've put it on the side, I do have these two, again I got at Fibre East, and there's a jumper, well it's a cardigan actually, I think it's called the Elton cardigan, that takes 2 and a mohair. So I was thinking maybe I could do that, because I found this mohair. So this was a present to me from a lovely lady. It's a Polish yarn. But I thought that goes quite nicely together. So I might start on that, because it just feels like what I want to make at the moment. And you have to make what you want to make. Otherwise, what's the point? That's the fun, isn't it? So yeah, I might start that soon as well, but I feel like I'm kind of on a mission to get my dots out of the way, so maybe I'll do that first. But anyway, I'm sure I will show you whatever it is I decide to get up to when we meet next time, or when we chat next time. So that'll be it from me today. I have no idea how long this is, because it's been broken up into lots of bits now and I've completely lost track. So I'm going to stop now in case it's getting too long, and I think that's all there is to say really, isn't there? I hope you find some lovely time for some crafting over the next couple of weeks until I see you again. Oh, and the Nature's Walk cowl, the next part, the first pattern part, for the crochet along will be coming out next week on Tuesday the 24th of September, probably about 9:30 in the morning, that's UK time, because by the time we've sort of sent the kids off to school and got in, that's kind of a good time to do it. So yes, I shall pop that up then, and that'll be fun. I hope you'll enjoy working through the first part. But yes, anyway, enough from me. I will see you next time. Have a lovely time in between. Bye bye. The troublemaker. He's got paint on his ear as well. I'm decorating my living room at the moment, and I was painting last night and he would not stay out of the room. He did keep coming in. He kept dragging his blanket in and coming in. I don't know if you can see it. I've managed to get most of it off now, but he's got a little, he must have just brushed against something. You've got paint on your ear, you silly hound, aren't you? You're very disruptive today and very unsettled, causing me problems. He doesn't care, does he? It's like, you're stroking me now. I've got what I wanted. I'm quite happy. If you won't let me go outside, at least, which is what I really want to do. You got a sunbathe? Yeah, you got to show your belly off and warm it up in the sun. That's what you want to do, don't you? I'll take that as a yes.